Hey, Megan. How are you?
Great. Even better with all this news. How are you?
I am awesome.
I want to talk about this stacked card of UFC 249. I know that you broke a lot of news with Brett Okamoto from ESPN, but this card, when you actually look at it from top to bottom, it's like there are 8 potential main events all throughout the card. Like any of these fights could headline other cards throughout the year.
Yeah, no, it's a great card. I mean, you start with the main event, Tony Ferguson and Gaethje. Co-main event, Cejudo versus Dominic Cruz. Ngannou versus Rosenstruik. Jeremy Stevens versus Calvin Kattar. Greg Hardy, DeCastro. The main event on ESPN, the prelims, is Cowboy Cerrone and Anthony Pettis. You have Olenek and Verdum. Carlos Esparza versus the Karate Hottie, Michelle Watterson. Uriah Hall and Jacare Souza. Luque versus Price. Bryce Mitchell versus Charles Rosa. And the card starts with Ryan Spann versus Sam Alvey. The prelims are 3.5 hours long on ESPN and ESPN Plus.
How did this come together? Because just looking at this is such a stacked card. You would think in the times that are going on in the world, oh, maybe, you're going to have to piece things together, but that certainly doesn't seem like the case.
You thought that what?
That maybe, you'd have to piece things together because things are so uncertain in the world, but this is a bananas card.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's an incredible card.
Were people reaching out to you to be able to compete on this one?
Oh yeah. We're going back to back. We're doing Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday. So we're gonna do 4 fights from May 9th to May 23rd.
All in Florida?
I'm not saying.
All right. I'll wait for you to send us a company-wide email. But for UFC 249, there's 2 titles on the line, and they are both so intriguing. I want to start with the co-main event, the return of Dominic Cruz versus Henry Cejudo, who was a double champ. What do you like about this matchup and Dominic's return to the octagon?
Yeah, no, I'm excited about it. First of all, I'm excited to be back. And it's always fun when you can put on cards like this. This thing will be stacked from top to bottom. As a promoter, there's very few times, like a handful of times where I went out and said, I guarantee you, if you put down your money, this card is going to be awesome. This is one of those times. Just the main event. Ferguson versus Gaethje is impossible to not be an incredible fight. Ferguson hasn't lost in 8 years. Gaethje has fought 6 times in the UFC and has 7 UFC post-fight bonuses. It's just, the fight is ridiculous.
Oh, it's going to be insane. We saw Tony Ferguson preparing for this bout when it was originally supposed to take place. He weighed in at home. Are we going to be able to see weigh-ins like we normally do for UFC 249?
The weigh-ins will happen, yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
The show's going to run just like it always does, just with no fans and limited media.
Okay. And will you be in attendance? I know there's 2 belts that are going to have to go around waist.
I will be there.
Excellent. So you've got to be excited then. I mean, obviously there's been so many hurdles, Dana, to overcome. What for you was the biggest thing you're most proud of?
Oh God. I mean, this whole thing has been, one of the fun parts about this job is fixing things that happen. And, there's always things that pop up. Everything's, every week is a shit show. So this was a shit show on steroids. It was crazy, but every obstacle that popped up, we figured out how to do it. Yes, I just saw somebody say Joe Rogan. Yes, Joe Rogan will be there too.
Excellent. So the full broadcast team in place. We're all excited to go and get in on the action. In terms of Florida, how did that come about?
How did what?
How did Florida come about?
Well, Florida deemed sports a necessary business. So it's a no-brainer.
And they were supportive. They've been cool through this whole process.
We have the governor, we have the mayor, and we have the athletic commission. There are there were other places we could have gone, but this is the one that worked out best for us.
Absolutely. So we've got May 9th, May 13th, May 16th, and then you said there'll be a card on the 23rd?
Yes.
Okay. So lots of fight action. We know the UFC 249 card. Any indication as to when those fights may be announced for the next upcoming cards?
Soon. We're focused on this card first, then we'll start promoting those once we get through this.
Rightfully so. Okay, that's 3.5 hours. of the prelim action on ESPN, then the pay-per-view on ESPN Plus, as our fans are accustomed to. So that's UFC 249. So much going on, so many great fights. But I also, Dana, want to talk to you about this All-In Challenge, because what you're doing to help different organizations around the coronavirus in partnership with Halle Berry. This is going to be an insane experience. I'd love to hear more.
Yeah, so it's basically, we do these fun, cool kind of things. I love this stuff, because the fans get to come hang out. They stand on stage, go to the fights, and sit in my seats, and do all the stuff. We always do this stuff. This one is like to the next level. I'm actually going to let whoever wins this thing come in and make a fight with me. Sit in on a matchmaking meeting, make a fight, stand on stage, go to dinner with Halle Berry. First of all, Halle Berry is one of the most beautiful women to ever walk the face of the earth. She's cool as hell, and she is actually a fight fan. She understands, everything about the sport, loves the sport, so you can literally sit there and talk fights with her. Then you go and sit with her at the fights. And every time we do one of these things, it's always rich guy versus rich guy bidding on this thing. On this one, anybody can enter to win for $10, $24, $5, whatever you pay, you get more entries to try to win. So anybody can win this one, and it's the best one that we've ever done, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, you should be. That's really cool. I saw Tom Brady say that he wanted to be in on that one. And before
Brady's is almost at $1 million.
Really?
Yeah, you get to go to his game, you get his jersey, his cleats, his first jersey that he wears, game-worn cleats and jersey, and then you go to dinner with him. It's at like $800,000.
That's amazing. Dana, are we going to Florida because Tom Brady's now in Tampa Bay? Does that have anything to do with anything?
Maybe that might be part of it.
All right, I figured. Well, I know that we are all excited to get to Florida for UFC 249. I know you're excited to be there as well. Why should fans tune into this entire card?
Because you don't have anything else to do. You're sitting at home. You got nowhere to go. You got nothing to do. So I don't want to hear any bullshit about this card isn't stacked enough. This one isn't that. This one isn't that. There's no excuse. And you know what? The other thing, too, is I understand that times are tough right now for people, and everybody doesn't have the money. But you're going to get 3.5 hours of prelims, incredible fucking fights from top to bottom. And if you don't have the money for the pay-per-view, then you already got 3.5 hours of great fights anyway. And the people who do can buy the pay-per-view.
Really awesome. Well, we are so looking forward to this, boss. Thank you so much for making this happen. We can't wait for it. We will see you in Florida.
Awesome. Thanks, Megan. Take care.
See ya.
Oh!